sexually abused and molested. This is the story of Taiwo Akinlami, who became a product of his experience. A prey became the predator. But by grace, divine intervention, and the strong will to change, Taiwo Akinlami has become a protector. He shares his inspiring story of transformation and refusal to remain knocked down by experiences that changed his childhood forever.
My experience is not peculiar. It's nothing new. When I tell my story, I found that many people, come to me to say, "Thank you for sharing your story. You're giving me the boldness to share mine. You're giving me the courage to speak up." But that includes men and women. I've seen people come to me, break down to say, "Wow, thank you for talking about what you went through." So what did I go through? Well, I lost my virginity at just 6 years old. That's the year I started primary school, because my mother would go to the market and leave me with a woman who was her neighbor. And this woman would strip me like I do with a 6-year-old boy, what a woman should do with a man. And before I knew it, my sexuality was awoken. I was being sexually molested. I was being made to play with every part of the body of this woman. I was messed up thoroughly. And unfortunately, my parents were not aware of my issues, because we never had that relationship. My parents never spoke to me about my sexuality. They never told me about how to protect myself. And my parents made a fundamental mistake thinking that a neighbor was a nanny. Because somebody was close to them, somebody was living in the same compound with them, they concluded that the person was a nanny. They also concluded that because somebody was close to them, was living in the same house with them, the person was good enough to protect me. They forget that those who abuse children, those who sexually molest them, don't have special look. They don't have special hairdo. There's nothing special about them. They don't carry a bell saying, "I molest children, take your children away." As a matter of fact, they try as much as possible to be subtle. And so they didn't understand all of that. So they felt that because somebody was a neighbor, the person was a nanny, and because somebody was a neighbor, the person was good enough, was a good person that could protect me. Unfortunately, they were wrong. And because they were wrong, I was in the hand of this woman for like 2 years. And the third thing was that I didn't have conversation with my parents. They didn't encourage us to talk. Every time they showed up with a cane. Every time they showed up with to chastise us. We were chastised for everything we did wrong. We never commended for everything we did right. So we're not even bold enough. We're not even thinking that we're not even sure that if we reported this lady, if I reported this lady, my parents were not going to say that, "Are you stupid? What are you thinking about?" Because I again was not even aware of my esteem as a person, because it's been beaten down. So as a teenager, I started having anal sex. After experiencing sexual abuse, my sexuality was awoken. Then from there, I started having anal sex with another male, who was close to being my age mate. Started doing that, and the cycle continues. By the time I became an adult, I wouldn't say that I was an adult, but yet I was being driven by my emotion, by my feelings, by my libido, because I've been messed up. And so I had multiple sex partners, prostitutes, those ones on the road, those ones in the brothel. In school, I was anything under skirts, anything available. I said there was nothing like HIV. I said it was American invasion to discourage sex. So by why my friend and I felt that one guy on a girl might not be good enough. So why can't we do 2 or 3 guys on a girl? And we did that with prostitutes. And my friend tells me, "I've slept with that girl." I said, "No, you've not slept with her. Do you want to come and see it? If you want to come and see, let me do it for you live." And I go to see it, and he asked me, "Are you interested?" She doesn't mind. And I find myself becoming a very strong masturbator. I could masturbate anywhere. Note that I was having sex regularly. Now, because you see, for you to protect your body, for you to understand the dignity of your body, you have to be taught. You have to be told not only taught, you have to be treated. Your body has to be treated with respect, with dignity. Nobody has the right to touch you without your consent. As a matter of fact, a child does not have capacity to give consent. So any sexual touch, any sexual relationship with a child is nothing but abuse, because the child does not have capacity to give consent. And so because of that, because of all of this, I, becoming an adult, I didn't feel my body, my private, anything was worth anything. I felt if it was worth anything, why would it be taken away from me without my consent? Mm-hmm. I felt if it was worth anything, how come nobody defended me? How come there was nobody I could speak to? How come I was suffering alone? How come I was suffering in silence? How come this woman was able to get away with what she did if, this thing meant anything? And so that was my life, big mess. I believed then that I had HIV because how wouldn't I? Because I was a prostitute, I was with girls. Masturbation, if I felt like masturbating, I was going on the road. I used saliva to masturbate. That's how bad it was. So my life was a life of an abused person, of a prey. I was a prey. Then I became a predator. But today I'm a protector. It's important how I made that transition. Mm-hmm. It wasn't difficult to understand how I made the transition from being a prey to a predator. A prey will become a predator one day. Because when somebody is preyed upon, you are telling him this is jungle. If you have to survive also, when you come of age, prey on other people. Because that's how to survive. That's the way you know to survive. But what is not common is that I was a prey, I became a predator, now I'm a protector. And what just happened to me is the fact that February 16, 1997, I gave my life to Christ. And that was the beginning of transformation in my life. I just felt that I needed help. And I just felt that, and I was told Christ could help me. And I decided to take the chance. I say, I'm told you can help me. Please help. And when I gave my life to Christ, I just thought that by that experience of giving my life to Christ, everything was just going to be rosy and everything was going to be fine. But it was not so, because I was dealing with, my mind was not dirty. My mind was dead. Think about any sexual perversion in the world, apart from sleeping with animals and incest. I've given it a trial. All kinds of mess. So when I sat in church, my mind was going to blow. My mind was thinking all kinds of things. If a woman was going in my front, I was coming behind, and she bent down to pick, if her car key drops, and she bent down to pick the key, pictures will come to my head. Ben Carson says every human being has photographic brain. It's just that we're not ready to take responsibility for that reality. Now, this woman that sexually molested me, I'm 48 years old now. This happened at the age of 6 and 8, between 6 and 8. If you give me pen and paper now, I can draw her. I remember her face. I remember the size of her breast. I remember everything about her. But it's 40 years ago. I've not seen her. But if I see her now, I'm sure I can identify her. But you see, it will have been okay if it is only her face that I remember. The damage she did to my psyche, the mess she caused to my mind, to my innocence. If childhood was synonymous with innocence, I never knew innocence. All of that damage were living with me, and I was thinking I couldn't cope. So I went to meet the man who introduced me to the church where I worship today. I worship in the Fountain of Light Church in Lokoju. That's where I worship now, under the leadership of Pastor Taiwo Akinlami. So I went to meet the man who introduced me to the church where I worship now. His name is Olakunle Shonya. So I told him I wasn't going to come to church again. This thing is not working. My mind is messed up. I'm in church. I'm weeping. I'm crying. Things are not working. You told me all things are new, but things are not new. My mind is messed up. I'd rather go back to my old life. In my old life, I was masturbating. In my old life, I was having sex at random. In my old life, there was no control. In my old life, I was cracking dirty jokes, using foul language. If I met a girl, the first question I might ask is that, do you have sex? I just wanted to know how bad you are to know whether I'm going to roll with you or I'm not going to roll with you. I wasn't ready for any pampering. It was a rough life, and you needed people that were rough and ready, That was the kind of life I was living. So I told him I was living, and he told me, he said, well, Well, don't think that you're going to get your sanity by just thinking that you have given your life to Christ. Your mind was taken away from you. Your innocence was taken away from you. Your sanity was taken away from you. Your sexual sanity was taken away from you. If you are ever going to make a difference, coupled with all the other abuses that I experienced, if you're ever going to make a difference, you need to fight for the sanity of your mind. You need to build capacity. You need to keep speaking to yourself. And so I embarked on what I call scriptural therapy. Even if there was any form of therapy, I couldn't afford it. But the one I could afford was I know I could get a copy of the Bible. And I could begin to study. And I began to study. I began to work on my mind. I began to speak to myself. My life began to change. One day at a time, I began to see a difference. My mind began to settle. I sat in church now. I could listen to the pastor. I became a worker. I began to get things done. My life began to take a new turn. Not one day, not 2 days. Every day, I was witnessing progress. It was not fast, it was not quick, but it was sure, because I kept, focusing on the regenerating power of Scripture, to change a man. And so, when I was called to the Nigerian bar 20 years ago, Chief Ganifami was my uncle. He was the one who sent me to school. He paid for my university's education, and the conclusion was that I was going to pick up a job in his law firm. But I told the family I wasn't going to pick up a job, that I found something happening to me and I want to democratize it. My life is changing in a particular manner. I know there are many other people out there who have gone through what I've gone through, are thinking that there's no hope, who feel that they are done, who want to define their life by the errors of those who abused them. I know there were such people. So I felt I want to dedicate my life to fight for enlightenment. Chief Ganifami was involved in human rights, but I felt, yes, it's human rights, asking government to respect people's rights. But I want to go to the people. I want to empower them. I want to help them.
What is skill? Skill is how to do. Knowledge is what to do. Skill is how to. There is a how to correct a child. There's a how to talk to a child. Psychology says, for every one wrong word you say to a child, you need 17 to correct it.
I've made my pain into my gain. What the enemy meant for evil has become the good that I pursue today. Maybe if I didn't have that experience, maybe I won't be doing what I'm doing today. Note, I'm not saying God orchestrated that experience. It wasn't God. It was the enemy. But God has a way of using what the enemy orchestrated for evil and turning around for good. As you're looking at me, I've treated the enemy, I've treated the devil. If I were dead, life would have been fair. If I were in Yaba left collecting table, that would have been fair. If I were in prison, that would have been fair. But I have overcome all of those things. And I'm here with you today talking to you that change is an ever-present possibility for any human being who's ready to take responsibility. You cannot afford to live on the errors of your past. You can't lose your childhood and lose your adulthood. You can't lose both ways. Though when you were not in charge of yourself, some guys messed you up. And now you are in charge of yourself. You are still living in the past. You are still a slave to your past. Instead of becoming a pioneer of your future. You still say, my uncle did, if not my father did, if not my mother did. No, you have to move beyond that, because at the end of life, when you become a wretch, when your life amounts to nothing, when you can't stay with one woman, you can't stay with one man, when you are a big mess, you will not have one excuse. You will not have one reason for being that. You will have many excuses. And for every excuse that you give, life will show you people like me who went through the things that you went through, or even worse, and they've been able to turn their pain into their gain. Life is going to show you all of those people. And so are going to find there's no excuse for messing up. You can't start where you are. And you ask me, when is the day for change? It's today. You can just take that decision. I'm going to stop all of those things and get serious.
Indeed, the earlier the better. Change is a constant factor in life, and everyone is capable of being a better version of themselves. For Plus TV Africa, Amaka Okoye.